Hello everyone, welcome back. I hope you're all doing well on this lovely Monday afternoon. It's kind of humid, doesn't need to rain. I don't know, the garden sort of needs it, I guess, but it's quite warm. I feel almost tropical, which is lovely. So we have some very special people with us here today. I don't know if you've heard of a show we work on. It's called SIX the Musical. It's just this little thing that's going on currently in the world. Well, you know, not at the moment, but is. And we are very lucky to have three wonderful queens with us today. So please, will you welcome? We got the wonderful Jasmine Shen. Hi, Jasmine.
Hi, hello.
We got Shekinah McFarlane. Hi, Shekinah. And then Miss Jodie Steele. Hi.
Hiya.
Oh, thanks so much for joining us. How is everyone?
Yeah, really good, thank you. Really, really good.
So this is our first time that we've had this number of people on, so this is quite exciting for us. So I think what we'll do is we'll go around in a minute. We'll do a bit of show and tell. You can talk about who you are and where you've been a queen, but tell us about a little bit about your career and a little bit about roles that you've played, maybe, and where you are today and how you got here. So let's start with Jodie.
Oh God! Oh. I was like, I'll go off what the other girls do. Here we go. Hey guys. So my name is Jodie, obviously, and I trained at Guildford School of Acting. I graduated in 2013, and I was very lucky to kind of go straight into work. My first job was Rent with a certain lady on this chat, which Shekinah, playing Mimi in that, and that kind of just fast forwarded me right into the industry. There was lots of reviews going around. I'm sure Shekinah can remember, and it kind of was a rolling ball from then. I then played Ivy and Bear at the Greenwich Theatre, and then other bits and bobs, and I've played, oh god, it's really lame, didn't it? I've played a few roles, Elphaba in Wicked, Heather Chandler in Heathers, Catherine Howard in Six, Sherry in Rock of Ages, Margot in Legally Blonde, and Carmen in Fame, a few other thingy-majiggies going round. But right now I'm a carer, so there we go.
Hey. Wonderful, amazing. Now, people watching you, you'll probably know this. If you're subscribing to this, there is the comment box. So please, you know about the delay. So please write your whatever you want to ask our wonderful queens. You can write in the comment box, and I'll bring them up as we go. Jasmine, how about you?
Oh God. Hello. Hi guys. I'm Jasmine, of course. I graduated from Bird College literally last July, so I'm still a fresh grad. Only professional job I've had is SIX the Musical, thank you to the lovely Pearson Casting. Before then, I guess it was just literally college for 3 years. Before that, I did BTEC dance, and I did my A-levels, and then obviously GCSEs, blah, blah, blah. But I think as well, like, it's been a journey, let's say. Like, it's been a journey, because if some of you follow me on Instagram or Twitter or have me on Facebook or whatever, or you know me personally, you know that I have a kidney disease. So 3 or 4 years ago, even before I started training at Bird, I got diagnosed with something called nephrotic syndrome, which in turn is a kidney disease, and it's with you for life. And it was interesting going to Bird as a fresh student, being still quite like poorly as such. But you know what? You've just got to fight through. Did my 3 years, absolutely loved it, made the bestest friends ever. And it was just a fab time. And then I think straight before grad, obviously you have like agent meetings and everything and auditions, and they're all quite scary. And literally, like, I was lucky enough to sign with the lovely Wendy from Felix the Wolf. She is a godsend. I love her so much. And then I bagged myself SIX, playing Catherine of Aragon. So there we go.
Amazing. Shaq?
Hey guys, hey, how's it going? It's girl Shaka coming live to your CCI. Gotta do that. Hope everybody is good. Hope everyone is well. So yeah, I am first things first, I'm a black performer. Number one, I'm based here in Leicester. I have been in this industry now for about 7+ years, I want to say, like as an adult professional. I trained at Brookfield Melton College in Melton Mowbray, and then I did 1 year intensive in London, and then I trained like as part of that in New York for a week. And yeah, basically from then we did a showcase panel, which is like a load of people come in, sit in one big massive desk, and we have to walk in and do basically an audition. And got my agent from then, and then I kind of like jumped straight into, so that was in 2013 as well. Hence me and Jodie knew each other from Rent. So that was my first job. And then I actually played at the Arts as Sour Kangaroo in Susical. I did Parade in Manchester, Hope Mill, the 50th anniversary, and obviously the Hope Mill version. I've done Tommy as the voice of Nora, which is Tommy's mum, and that was a mixed ability cast. I'm also I'm visually impaired, so I was working in a cast filled with people of different abilities, and it was a beautiful production. Yeah, and I've kind of like now I've continued to progress within in this industry, and I am currently playing Anna of Cleves on the SIX UK tour. But before that, I was actually doing a bit of alternate work as the summer alternate over in the West End of SIX musical. Got a chance to play not just Cleves but Aragon as well, which was a stretch, but it was all fun. Definitely an experience I won't forget. So yeah, it's been an eclectic journey, because no two jobs have ever been the same. And that's what I just love about it. It's just a bag full of variety. Variety is the spice of life, folks.
So, we'll come on back onto careers in a moment. Thank you so much for those brilliant introductions, and there's lots that I want to chat to you about and come back onto. Let's talk about lockdown. It's a bizarre time, and you know, it's kind of what this has come from. The Collective Creative Initiative has come out of that, which and it's got a wonderful response, and we're so glad that it's connecting with people. What are you guys doing, like on a daily basis, to get yourselves through lockdown? You know, what is it? You know, what are you finding hard, and what helps you? Now, let's start. Actually, Jasmine, let's start with you.
Oh, okay. So at first, when I got back from the cruise, we were obviously straight into lockdown in the UK. I think at first I just wanted to take that time to just chill and just relax, because I have not stopped since I graduated, and it's been so busy, and I've never had the time to just do nothing, which has actually been really nice. And it's that, I think it was that pressure of like, you must learn 10,000 different skills by the end of lockdown, and like you must do this and achieve this, and it was just a bit much. So I thought, you know what, I'm gonna take this time to just chill, and then if I start to get maybe a bit bored and I'm like, hey Jazz, just maybe do something, then I think it wasn't until maybe like 2.5 weeks ago I then just started making myself like a daily timetable, coming onto CCR YouTube and being like, okay, I want to do this class today. And then like in between, I don't know about you guys, but I've just been baking. Like I've fallen into the trap of quarantine baking. So I'm doing a bit of that.
I love that. I think what you touched on there, Jasmine, is about, you know, and we're saying it all the time. We've done 100 Q&As and podcasts and etc. on or you know, lockdown and the industry, and I think it's okay to kind of go, today I'm not going to do anything. I think that's really important to like go, no, yes, I've got these things I want to work on, but today I'm just gonna chill out.
Yeah, it's so important, and it's so important for your mental health as well, because I know some days like I'm quite a perfectionist, and I'm thinking, well, if I haven't done this on my list, then I've essentially failed. But I thought, no, Jazz, you haven't failed. You have failed no one. Just chill, girl. Like, you just need to relax, you know?
Definitely. What about you, Shaq?
I went into this whole quarantine thing very kind of like overwhelmed by the situation. Like, me and the girls were like, we've got 1 more week. We've got Brighton. We'll have Brighton together. And then just before, literally, I was just about to leave my house, and I checked my email, and it was like, everyone stay home. And I was just like, I was literally about to leave my house, get on the train. And so I was just like, okay, now what do I do? Because I have literally been on the road now for the last 2 years straight. So like, my whole kind of like tour mind and tour mentality and how my life usually is was thrown up in the air. As time kind of kept going throughout this whole madness of 12 weeks, whatever it has been, I've got a massive love for skincare. So like skincare is like my thing. So I've actually like taken a diploma course online in skincare. I have started a business, a side business, shall I say, with a company called Aragon. But then I've also like started delving within other Black-owned businesses within skincare. So I'm talking to them. I'm reconnecting with artists back here in Leicester, because for people who don't know or do know, I'm also a singer-songwriter. So other artists are like, are you still singing? Because they only see me as musical theatre sometimes. I was like, of course I'm still singing. So yeah, I'm actually heading to the studio this week.
Yeah.
And it's just a madness, really. I've decorated. We've done castle renovations. This wallpaper used to be tacky purple glitter. We'll move past that.
We were actually
it's been
Rosie and I were actually on Broadway for the opening of SIX there, and Broadway shut the day it was supposed to open, which is actually a good thing. It was better that it didn't open and then close the next day. I think so when it comes back. But then the next time we were coming to see it was in Brighton. We were going to come and see it there. We were bringing the wonderful Nikki Meadows with us, casting director. We were really excited. So we were like, because we hadn't seen it since the opening night in Guildford, and we were like,
oh my God.
We were gutted about that. Jodie, what are you up to? How are you keeping busy? You were just doing a class or something before this one.
I'm so sorry as well, guys. Typical me flying in at the last minute. I'm here. So I actually got COVID quite badly. And I was actually, as Shekinah was saying, I had to come off the show on the Thursday in Wolverhampton because I had fully fledged symptoms, cough. I couldn't really get out of bed. I was really very poorly, but that actually only did end up lasting for a few days. And I spoke to doctors, and at that point it was just a week. You just had to stay at home for a week. It's only been later on since I've had the antibody that I've been told that I officially did have it, because from then I actually lost my sense of taste and smell for up to 3 weeks. It was mad. And I was keeping all the girls, in filling them in, just checking that they were okay, because obviously I had been in the building, but luckily it seems like no one actually caught it from me. I think I came off the show just in time. So I was sat at home knowing that I could go back to work on the Wednesday, and knowing that things were most likely to be pulled, and just praying with my whole heart that I could at least get Brighton in before they took it away. And then axed it. But I was in the high risk category because I actually have CFS/ME, so chronic fatigue syndrome, which I've had since I was a kid. But then when I was 16, I got glandular fever. So obviously that's like probably the worst thing you possibly get for ME. So I have issues with my spleen and my immune system, my white blood cells. So I wasn't surprised that I caught it after the more information that we got. But when I was better, I thought, screw this. You know what I'm like, James. And I thought, well, what can I do? So I applied to every caring job under the sun, and ended up landing an incredible job with McIntyre. And I care for two ladies who are in their mid-30s with Down syndrome and autism to quite a severe level. And it has been one of the most uplifting, odd, magical, difficult, challenging, but incredible experiences of my life. I'm exhausted, but I can't express, like, I've taught them 6 routines. We sing songs together. I play the piano and they sing, and it honestly has changed my life. So that has been keeping me busy and teaching me a lot about myself and the world, and how ignorant I am to a few things. And I'm also running my school, JSA. So that has also been keeping me busy with workshops and one-to-ones and stuff like that. So it's been quite a busy lockdown actually, and a big old dramatic change. But I've kind of enjoyed every second in an odd situation, if you know what I mean. But yeah.
Brilliant. That's great. Well, fantastic introduction to your COVID world, your current COVID world. Just if you're joining, please, if you have any questions, start typing in them now. Don't wait till the end, because there's a delay in us seeing them. So I'll work through those questions as we go. So please ask those. I want to come on to casting, and how this is really an offering out to people watching performers, in terms of how it works for casting. And we kind of have obviously, Jasmine, we saw you. I think you were still at college when we first saw you.
Yeah, I hadn't graduated yet. Yeah.
Graduated, which was awesome. So that was really exciting. Shat, we saw in Parade, and it's so interesting how it works. Like, you were on our list, and every time a project came up, we would check in to see if you were available, and eventually we got you. But it's just so interesting how these hang on. Jodie, we saw you were in Evita in Liverpool. And
no, it was Jesus Christ Superstars on as Mary. I remember talking to you on stage door. Yeah.
And you came on, and we were about to cast Legally Blonde at Aberystwyth, and we were like, oh, she'd be amazing as our Elle. We must get her in. And then we chatted with you at the pub afterwards, and you were doing Margot. We're like, well, you can't be an Elle with us.
That forever frustrates me. I'm like, no.
We found a fabulous Elle. There's, Rebecca, you're wonderful. But it was just at that time we had met Rebecca in that way. But it's so interesting how that we constantly talk about, every job you do, the way that whether it's a director or a choreographer or a casting director, a producer, musical director, that can see you and how you stay on people's lists sometimes for years before they actually get to sort of engage with you and get you into a production. It was the same with you, Jodie. We checked you all the time. You're always busy, whatever. So it's so exciting when finally people that you've seen that you've wanted. Are there other experiences that you've had of that where you've done a job that you thought, oh, I didn't think anything would come of this, and then suddenly somebody calls you out the blue, and it's like, I want you to come in for this. I saw you in that random show, or maybe it was a big show.
Oh.
Yes, actually. Jim Arnold watched me in Fame, which I did in 2014, and then wanted me in for Elphaba in 2016. And I actually came in with Glitter and Be Gay, being like, I'm here to sing for Glinda. And he was like, no, you're not. He was like, what have you got? I know you can belt. I've seen you play Carmen. And I was like, oh, God. And I remember the next audition coming through. I was just terrified. I was like, I rang my agent. I was like, I can't go in and sing Defying Gravity for them. No way. But it happened. And there I was a few months later with a green face. But yeah, so that was 2 years later. Crazy. Like, you just wouldn't know. I didn't even know he'd come to see the show back then. So yeah, crazy.
What about you, Shat?
I don't think I'm not quite sure, because I'm more of a tour girl, so I don't really. I'm so all over the place. I don't really get I don't get rooted into like getting to meet a lot of people, which she's trying to better herself, guys, and just try and meet more. But I don't think so. I think the only thing that's kind of been more one of those shocking things is like, just before I actually booked SIX, I booked my first ever play. Now, I have been so afraid to be seen as an actress for so long. So when I booked my first play, I was just like, oh, okay, what, how do I go about this? And that came out of the blue. I was asked randomly to go in for a production at the Globe. Me at the Globe. I don't know about that. Yes. But it's little things like this that keep popping up. So yeah, I mean, we'll see what's next, but I'm just kind of like just open to everything now.
Brilliant. You have to be. And Jasmine, when what did you do at the end of your college in terms of productions? And were you called in for lots of stuff after those? How did it work for you?
So my third year musical, we did Cry Baby, and I played Hatchet Face, which was very interesting. Because leading up to then, I'd never done like any like big roles, because I feel like Hatchet Face has like a kind of a big role. Like she's cool, like she's the comedic character. And I guess from playing Hatchet Face, it actually gave me a lot more confidence acting wise, because I'm the same as Shaq. Like I never thought of myself as a actor at all. And I thought, you know what? I went into Bird never, ever having an acting lesson apart from GCSE drama, which doesn't really count. So I never had a proper acting lesson, and I'd never had a proper singing lesson either. So I literally went to Bird being a dancer who could kind of like maybe sing Happy Birthday in tune. but I knew that I had like a musical ear because I play the piano. So I was like, oh, okay, go into this, hopefully learning how to act. But I'd never had been given like a big opportunity to kind of prove to myself that I can do it. So in third year, when I got given Hatchet Face, I was like, oh, this is amazing. Like, this is now my time to actually think about everything I've learned over the 3 years and put it into this one character. And from that, because I think that was the first or second performance I did in third year, I got a lot of my agent interest from that performance, which was just insane, because I always thought like getting an agent was just like unheard of, like within like the first like 2 weeks of doing a show or whatever. And I'd got so much like interest that I was honestly shook. Like I remember getting my first agent interest and crying. Like I was that like, oh my God, someone actually wants me on their books. I was like, oh Jesus. But it was insane. But yeah, I guess that was kind of the first biggish role from college that I'd gotten. So yeah.
Go on, girl.
We've got a question here from Ruth. Ruth, please could you talk about the leap from training to working in the industry and any advice you have for making that jump? Jodie.
So the thing is with this, there's a big old stigma, right, of being out of work. And you might find that you often get asked when you graduate, so what are you up to now? Just reply with, well, this morning I did a bit of yoga, baked a cake on Tuesday, I'm going to go and see my mum, because there shouldn't ever be a stigma. It is so hard to constantly jump from job to job to job to job to job in this industry. And hopefully your drama school has prepared you for that. And just feel comfortable with the fact that actors rest a lot, and within that time keep up your training. So I think the most important thing is when you come out of your training, don't think, well, I'm trained now, where's all my jobs? Keep going to class, keep having singing lessons, watch shows when you have money. I am aware that they're expensive, and that's the hardest thing for actors. We want to go see all the shows, but we don't have enough money. But just you have to manage yourself as a business. Your whole body and what you do has to be your business. That is now your business. So what you do with your free time is what you're putting into your business, and how are you going to use that free time? And of course have a life as well, but please keep going to training and keep learning and go to acting classes and put your fingers in as many paint pots as you can, because I think it's about juggling. And sometimes, that's quite hard to teach at drama school. It's about finding your rhythm as you leave. So as long as you keep your eyes open to opportunities, jump onto as many gigs as you can, because you never know who'll be watching. Get yourself out there, be involved and ask questions, but just keep proactive. I think sometimes people leave drama school and think, right then, when's the first call? But it sometimes doesn't work like that. It does for some, and that's amazing, but you really do have to keep on training. So just because you've left drama school, just think, now I'm going to train myself, and I'm going to be in the industry and present in the industry, but I'm going to keep my training up. And that way you'll find that people are like, you're like a magnet, and people will come to you and want you to do things because they see that you're proactive.
Brilliant. Great answer. I'm going to give this one to Shaq. Hey all, what advice would you give someone who hasn't gone down the professional drama school London training? Is it necessary to do 3 years drama school to get into the theatre performing industry?
Simple answer, no. I'm someone who did 1 year course. I never really believed in getting my degree.
Where did you do your 1 year course?
So I did it at AMTA, which is now called ICMT.
Yeah.
So yeah, I did a year there, and I'm that person who prefers to learn on a job, and I know I learn more from a job. So it would be one of those things where, to me, it's not necessary. If you want a specific style of training, then by all means, if you can get to a drama school, if you can find one that works for you and ticks all those boxes and makes you feel like, yes, I'm going to grow from this place, then by all means take a leap, because there's nothing wrong with going to drama school either. But it's definitely just finding the place that fits you best and kind of figuring out your journey as you're going. Because some people start and then sometimes they leave, or they go like a few years and then they go, actually, I do want to invest that time and that money into that situation. So it just depends on how you see your journey going. But for me, it wasn't necessary. So I literally was just like, let's go. And I hit that ground running, and yeah, it's kind of like my easy answer to it.
No, brilliant. Here's one from Gemma. Hi, girls. How do you all keep yourselves healthy, body, physically, and mentally, in order to slay 8 shows a week? Great question. Why don't you start? Well, you didn't do 8 shows a week, though, did you? How many shows did you do a week?
Oh, me?
Yeah.
Yeah, we did 4 shows a week, and then we did a welcome aboard show every Saturday. So I guess it's the easy life. So.
This is what we say about like shit.
Literally, but our stage is literally like triple the size of the arts. Like, it's huge.
True.
So you're literally like running from one side to the stage to the other, like, oh my god.
People don't realize that, you know, you're doing the same show, same team. So you're just doing it in the Caribbean, and you're only doing it 4 times a week. It's like, you know, here we are, and a welcome aboard, which is what? Tell us how long a welcome aboard is, Jasmine.
Like 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Brilliant.
Oh my God. Shekinah, what are we doing, girl? We're on the wrong contract.
Get yourself on a ship.
I'm telling you. And I know the rest of the time you're having those cocktails out in the sunshine. Yeah, that's sushi. I always loved the sushi bars. That was my big thing. Oh my god! Oh, I love that so much. Brilliant. What was it on the ship? Did you go out to the restaurants a lot? What was your favourite restaurant? Because they have so many different ones. Did you go to the steakhouse? Not that I eat meat anymore.
Yeah, so I took advantage of the restaurants when my boyfriend Charlie came on the ship, because
so he was paying for everything.
Actually, I paid for everything because I was like, you know what? You've paid for your own flight to get here. I will pay for everything else. I was the right person. But the steakhouse is amazing. Like, a lot of it is quite expensive, but I guess that's just cruise lines in general. Like, any holiday is going to be expensive. Mm-hmm. But honestly, worth it. So worth it. Like, that food compared to the food in the mess, woo, so good.
I love it. So, okay, Jack, what about you? How do you keep mentally and physically fit?
Mentally, I'm all about kind of honing in and focusing on the tasks at hand. So I know I need to make sure that I am okay for the show. I need to make sure that mentally, no matter what happens outside of the show, I can still be the best performer that I can be. So that could be whether it's just like sitting down with myself, it could be writing down in my journal, it could be songwriting. In terms of fitness wise, not gonna lie, I love the gym, but I don't always go. Can't be bothered, if I'm honest. But I actually said the other day, it's like, I'm great, you know, I can do a good few sit-ups, that's all good. But you know what? The inches are coming off the back instead. So I wish it would just come round front. One of them. But I'm all about eating my fruit. So like my pomegranate seeds, my grapefruit before the show, like intake of water, you know, just really kind of, I guess, being an honest representation of a woman who looks like me as well, rather than, you know, going above and beyond to try and transform myself into an ideal. So yeah, I'm just keeping it real, if I'm honest.
Love it.
I love a chicken wing and I like a grapefruit. It's one of them.
She really does like her chicken wings as well. It's really funny.
And you work out quite a lot, don't you, Jodie?
Yeah, I think. Do you know what? Me and Shaq are like sisters, and she does. Like, she gives me what I need, and if she's sat down and calm, I'll come on stage with amount of energy before that curtain drops, and she's like, cool. And then with me, if I'm like, oh my god, and she's like, okay, chill, and we kind of balance each other.
We do, that's true.
Yeah, I do work out a lot. And listen, sometimes I worry because I teach so many young people, and they are very aware that I do. And it's not that I want to make that impression that you must be like that. It just works for me. And if I'm honest, it's because I have to keep my energy up. Because with my condition, if I let it drop, I can really get into a hole where I can't get myself back out, and my exhaustion levels just wipe me out. So for me, a lot of sleep, like, it's so important. I think, you know, when I was younger and I did a more ensemble based jobs, the pressure is slightly lifted. Now, don't get it wrong, ensemble was still some of the hardest shows I have ever done physically. Are the ensemble tracks, because you are on and off and like costume change, and you know, you're the one that's got to keep the energy up for that number and blah blah blah. But you know, there's less pressure for the singing. I guess you're less exposed. So, you know, you can go out a bit more and socialize a bit more and do more with your day, but still get that sleep. But for me, when you've got a big vocal track, which is more where I'm sat these days, the older I've got, I'm lucky enough to get more lead parts, loads of water, loads of sleep. And yeah, for me, I do work out every day because it just gets me prepped for the show. And also being on tour can actually be a lot more challenging than being in the West End. It's hard to get your rhythm every week. It changes, and there seems to be a lot more going on every week because you've got the sound check and everything. So you really need to take the time to rest when you can, and it's really easy to get home from a show and stay up till like 2 a.m. But you've kind of got to, you've got to get yourself into a rhythm where, especially if you've got a massive sing, just get yourself like silent and asleep, and then you'll get through 8 shows, and you've really got to pace yourself. It's a really hard thing, but you can't give 110 all week. And if you can, teach me, please. But but you've just got to pace yourself. And I think roles like Elphaba and Sherry, I learned that, you know, I'd always going hard because I was so excited, and then 3 weeks into the contract, I was like, okay, now I need to really pace myself and know that I've got 8 of these. And in order for me to give each audience a spectacular show, I've got to be careful with my technique and what I'm doing, and don't push myself, so that the next day I can give the same thing again. But every job is different. So it's something that you find in every job, and how far you can go before you step the line, kind of thing.
Brilliant. Excellent stuff. So from Kate here, what are some things you encountered in working in the industry that drama school training didn't prepare you for?
Taxes.
Yes.
Taxes.
What taxes? Yes. We are actually on here doing an accountancy session. I think it's once every 2 weeks or once every week. So tune into that.
Watch that.
I
need that.
And like how to approach different areas. So they're going to be here every other week, just talking about different subjects. And that is one of the biggest, writing a cover letter, like write to somebody, you know, in the right way. It's amazing. But are there any other things that, apart from taxes, that you feel? Jasmine, you've recently graduated, and is there other things that
I think it's just obviously John, like Bird, were brilliant in preparing us as students on how much work there is to be involved in a show. For example, when I did like a small production at the beginning of 3rd year, I remember my musical theatre teacher gave us something ridiculous like 8 songs to learn over one night. One of them was in French, and we had to learn it for the day after. And I was literally like, that is ridiculous. Like, we finished college at like 8 p.m, started again at 8:15 in the morning. Yeah, I still need to go home, have my tea, have a chill, you know, and then learn these 8 songs for the next day. I was like, hey, like that doesn't sound right. And then the next day came, and he was like, okay, so I don't care if you didn't learn the songs. I just wanted to stress you all out because that's how the real world is. I was literally like, oh, well, thank you for that. But to be honest, though, it was brilliant because honestly, doing SIX, there is so much involved, and I would never think that my first job that I'd landed was to be a lead. So I was never really expecting to have like an overwhelming amount of workload. And in terms of like character building, like vocal rest, like it's a lot. And I think the main thing that you can then aid for yourself that drama school didn't prepare you for is really keeping organized, like keep on top of your stuff. Like drama school can only tell you so much on how to organize yourself. Keep yourself organized, get yourself a diary, get yourself like 10,000 folders to put everything in. Keep yourself well rested, even if it's like, you know what, after tonight's like rehearsal, I'm going to chill for like 5 minutes. Even if it's that, just 5 minutes, sit down by yourself, have a chill. Because I remember in rehearsal, us queens were literally, we'd finish rehearsal at like 6 p.m, but rehearsal doesn't stop in rehearsal. Like it doesn't stop there. Like you take it home with you. We were going back to the apartment, staying up till like midnight, just trying to remember what we had done that day, getting it all together, helping the swings, bless them, because they had 3 tracks to learn. And it's just very overwhelming. So I think the main thing that I would say is know when to just stop and relax and have some time for yourself, even if it is for just 5 minutes, and keep yourself organized.
I think a really good point is the volume of learning. I was lucky where I went. We were constantly, we never stopped. So pretty much every single day we had something to learn for the next day or the day after that. And it was very much a vocational course to get you ready for that. And I think that's been something that a lot of people have talked about. Professionals, casting directors, self-tape professionals, directors on these sessions that we're doing, and that is just practice learning. Like, get scripts, try and learn a speech for the next day or for a day after, and just, it doesn't matter whether you get it or just practice working with scripts and songs and things like that. Not stressing yourselves out, but just get that sort of the procedure of learning. I think, Jodie, what do you think? There's anything that you encountered?
Yeah, I do think the speed of learning things is definitely something that you need, but GSA was quite good at that. Every week, I think we had to learn like 6 new songs every week. And it was like, oh God, again. And now I've got boxes and boxes of sheet music that I haven't seen for years under my desk. I think that it's going back to the endurance. It is impossible for a drama school to teach you how you will feel 6 months into a contract. It is impossible. And I think the thing that people forget or don't realize is that musical theatre performers particularly are athletes. You know, especially SIX, my God, you know, at the end you're like, okay, we got another one in a bit. You know, and that's really hard for them to teach. And I don't know how they could possibly teach you. It's learning on the job and just taking it in your stride, and never be afraid to say, tonight I am so exhausted, I've got an injury, my voice is tired, I need to call out, because there will be a cover or a standby or an alternate who is fresh faced and raring to go, and actually that makes you a better performer, knowing that night that person will do a better job than you. And it's such a hard pill to swallow. Of course it is. It's like, but it's just being clever with your business, again, with you, because why would you want to go on and do a bad show? So that is something that you have to learn, you know, the cover situation and what it's like to step up to be a cover, to not have that rehearsal as much and having to do that homework yourself. I definitely know that. In fact, I don't think I did any kind of cover work at drama school, but I've been loads of covers. And I remember, because when I did play Margot, I was actually cover Elle and Brooke, and I never had a rehearsal. And one day our Elle nearly went off, but I knew it all. And another crazy story, when I got cast in Rock of Ages, then Heather's transferred and I didn't get to do the rehearsals for Rock of Ages. I got sent the video, and I asked Ryan Lee Seago, who's a good friend of mine, to send me the choreography at slow tempo kind of thing. Turned up on the Monday and was on Wednesday. A sherry, do you know what I mean? And it's like, what? How did that happen? But you just have to kind of take it upon yourself to do it yourself. And it's a hard thing. Your cover work is hard. It's not touched on drama school. Swinging is really hard. Some dance schools touching it. I was a swinging War of the Worlds, and I remember my dance captain shouting numbers at me, and me just being like, like, and it's incredible, that skill. And again, it's practice and finding what each job is about. But definitely the endurance, as the longer you go in a contract, covering, knowing when to go off, and knowing what to do if you lose your voice, and all those things. They're things that you discover on the job. So ask people, because they will tell you. People who have been doing it longer than you want to share their knowledge with you. And so I think it's really nice sometimes when you get people who are fresh out who ask questions, and you can see that they desperately want to know, like, teach me. So please never be afraid to ask the older ones like me. You know, what do I do here? Because we want to help, and we understand, we've been there before. But that's really hard for a drama school to teach you, you know. So
did you do the full Queen weekend? Because there's no way they teach you about that at drama school either. We've done that. We've done it before. The alternates in town, they sometimes do the four queens over the 4 shows. Like,
well, thankfully I only had to play 2, but even switching between the 2 over 4 shows is a lot. It's the mentality of going, okay, right now I'm playing this character. Oh wait, now for example, Cleves and Aragon. One's a, like mezzo, the other is like strong alto. I like my range, right? Between the two is not easy, especially the glitter as well. I mean, it's a process. And I think the craziest moment for me was when we were in American Idiot, and I hadn't done a cover run properly in ages because I lost my voice partially during a cover run, and it was like, okay, so the girl who's playing it, these go off. I said, sorry, my hair was in random twists. I was like, no, it was a process, and I only had 35 minutes to switch, and it is little things like that we don't learn. But you learn them on the job. That's what I mean. Just be open to, be ready to be a sponge, is what I say.
Yeah.
I did a tour of Jesus Christ Superstar long time ago, about 2001, and I was cover Simon.
Yeah.
And it was somebody's birthday this one night, and we all went out. I mean, out. We're out. And then the next day we were like playing golf. Because there was 4 of us and we played golf in each place. We were in Llandudno and we were playing golf, and I was on the 9th hole, which is always the furthest hole away from the clubhouse, and my mobile phone rang and I answered it and I looked at the number and it was the company manager, and I was like, oh no, and I was like, hi, and she's like, hi, no rehearsals, hi, so Hugh is unwell, Hugh Maynard is unwell. So we'd like you to come and do a rehearsal, and I hadn't done any real rehearsals properly. I was like, I was like, yeah, of course. And the moment I went off the phone, I literally went, and the 3 other boys were on the floor crying because they knew. And the first thing I did was, oh God! And I just remember humming all the way back to the car. Water humming. It was my first time on, and it was like, I was like, oh! But the adrenaline just clears everything out of the way. There's no hangover. Adrenaline just gets rid of everything. Yeah. But it was horrid. One from Layla. Shaq, you can start with this. Hi everyone. What was the audition process like for SIX? What do you believe you did to prove you are perfect for the role?
The audition process for SIX, I think all of us will probably agree, it's probably one of the best audition processes we've had. It was so opening. It was one of those spaces where you know that you are comfortable and everyone in the room is ready to not only be themselves and be the best version of themselves, but also come together as a collective. Like, it's a strong room of women, strong women of, you know what I mean. And started with the dance, cool. Started with, my song "Get Down" is cool, and then version it like a catwalk down the center.
Oh
and
my God!
The catwalk.
And I will never forget it. I mean, there were legs, there were splits, there was everything. I stood on the floor. I don't know what for, but we did it anyway. And I think in terms of like, and we got to sing in front of each other as well, which sometimes when I first heard about singing in front of each other, I was like, but it actually helps to learn the message of the show, which is everyone has their own beautiful way of portraying something, or portraying character, and it kind of sets you up ready to be a part of that company. I think in terms of what probably swayed their vote my way, I don't know. I think initially, I'm quite like I'm a massive hype girl, so I'm definitely up for like just cheering everybody on. So I don't know if that played into it. I don't mind kind of like just chucking myself into it. Also, this is why it shocked me when I got Aragon as an alternate Aragon, was because when that last audition that I did singing for it, or like I'd literally just been on for what's name in American Idiot, and so I was in full on rock voice mode. So I came in and there was like, so you were a kid to sing nowhere? I was like, oh right, and I mean, I must have given the most rockiest, most like gospel growl, give me some grit version of No Way. But I think it's the fact that I was just open to just trying new things and just throwing myself into it, if I'm honest. I don't know.
Awesome. Jasmine?
I actually auditioned for SIX twice. So I first auditioned, I think when was it? Was it last March or something like that? Yeah.
It was like April, May?
Yeah, something like that. But the first lot I got cut from, and I was like, you know what? Learn from this. I will come back. And then we had another lot, then it was June, July time. And obviously then got the job from the second round. But I think like the audition process is just like Shaq said, like it's so eye-opening, and it is honestly one of the best experiences I've ever done, because normally leading up to that I'd been to like several other auditions for different kinds of shows, and I just felt like they were just very like, I had to be very like not serious, but like just less like, just a bit like, you know, just contain yourself, Jazz. And I think it was just really nice to actually be able to show your personality, because that is what you guys were looking for. And like, it is so important to bring that into the room. I mean, it's important to bring it into the room anyway, but to then be able to bring it into your performance is even better. And I think like to this day, I'm still shocked that I actually got Aragon, because I tell this story to everyone who I see. I'm literally like, I swear to God, on that day, something possessed me to do something like, that was not me, you know? I was like, oh God. And I think like on the day, the adrenaline just gets to you so much. And like so the process is like all the girls are like around you, and everyone's there to support you. Like no one is there to watch you fail. Like no one is there to watch you do that. Everyone is there to support one another. And it is so nice to see. And like literally when it was my turn to do Aragon, I was like, oh God, here we go. Because it was probably the one that I was least comfortable with. And it just, again, something took over my body, and I was just like giving it loads of sass, which I've never done before. And I was like, oh my God, what is this? And I was like, oh God, because I've always seen myself as more of as a Berlin. So I was just really, really shocked that I then ended up getting Aragon. And I was like, you know what? Whatever possessed me on that day, thank you. Because whatever it was, my God, you did me good.
With the process, and I'm glad that you all had a positive experience, which is great. Well, we haven't talked to Jodie yet, but we'll come to Jodie in a moment. But I think with that, when people are watching and people are like, oh, is this going to happen? But I think like you touched upon, Jack, it's that you sit there and realize that nobody else is like you in the room, because we're encouraging everyone to bring their own personality, sing in their own accent, and so on and so forth. There's no one that you sit there and go, oh, I'm exactly like that person. So I think the support that you're talking about comes from the fact that people go, well, if I get this, or if they get this, it's because that's the way they went for it, that role. That's the way. It's not because I didn't necessarily do anything wrong. It's just that they're so different from me, and so I think that's what creates part of that support mechanism, is that people start to realize that actually everyone is so talented, and I can start to see that, oh, if that person gets it, then I'm probably not fitting into that car. And I watch people looking at the cast going, oh no, that's not my lineup. Oh no, put these in, because that's, if I'm going to get this, it's with them. That's and people have said to us, that's how we started seeing it, and be like, please ask me to be with them, because that's how I start to sort of feel like, and it creates, and people leave and they become best mates, and everyone goes to the pub or for a coffee. And
It's true.
It's so exciting. Jodie, what about you?
I love the audition process. It was something that I'd never experienced before, with singing in front of everyone in the audition. But I just had this horrible memory, and you will remember, and Shekinah will remember, I was the first up to sing Heart of Stone. And I literally went like this, I kid you not. Yeah. And I remember, like, you know, when there's everyone in that room has probably seen you in a show, and they're like, yeah, come on. And you go up and you crack. And I remember sitting down like, oh God. And you know what? Everyone was like, babe, don't worry. And I got to do it again, thank God. But I just remember being like, oh no, but everyone was so lovely and so supportive and giggling with me about it. And I think it was because I was dead tired, because I was on Rock of Ages at that time and travelled down and all that. But I knew when I went in, I was like, please, Catherine Howard, please, Catherine Howard, please, Catherine Howard. I don't know, it was just something about that part. For me, it was, you know, having played people like Heather Chandler and Margot and Mimi, it's that kind of innocent, not so innocent, that kind of streetwise vibe with Howard. You know what I mean? You actually, lots of people are like, oh, the dumb pretty one. I'm like, oh no, absolutely not. Like, she's definitely the one that's always like, wait, hold on, wait a sec, and always on the front foot, and just a twist in her story. And I remember doing the dance call, and when we got to freestyle, I was like, okay, Howard vibes, give it the hip. But yeah, I found it incredible. And honestly, I wrote it off. I was like, there's no way I got that. I think it was when we did the script reading, I got asked to read for Seymour. And I was like, please see me for Howard. Exactly what you just said, James. Like, I pictured, like, if they put me with this one, that's it. That's the 6. But it didn't go how I thought. And I thought, I flunked it. And then I got the call, and I was in York buying a sandwich. And I remember dropping my phone and crying, and the sandwich lady being like, are you okay? I was like, here we go.
Amazing. We got one from Melanie here. I love this. Hi, or any advice on how to be body confident and not worry about showing off the flaws you see in yourself? Yeah. So we've touched a little bit on each of you having a condition or something going on, and as well as so there's the body confidence thing, but there's also that that can feel like people out there feeling like, well, I have something, an illness, or an ailment or something. So let's go through. Shaq, let's start with you. So the question, and then as we said, you are visually impaired, and how have you, because you don't come over as someone who isn't that confident.
If you would ask me back in 2013, it would probably be a different question, but right. Sure.
Actually, that's really good. So what changed?
So during after graduating, I was a completely different person to who you see now. I was not this kind of I was still kind of positive, but I wasn't outwardly positive. I was just very internal, and that's just stuff that we all face, that kind of bring us down a bit, and we don't kind of understand then how we come out after training, etc. And that all kind of changed from one Adam Scown, who was the choreographer on Rent, literally became my best, we're best friends to this day. And I learned a lot about the industry and kind of started to rediscover myself as a performer through that way. And I've never been an itty bitty, I've never been tiny. But that's never actually bothered me too much, because put it this way, we were doing hair, and obviously at the end of Act 1 we have to get naked. Now there was one point where everyone was like, right, I'm just gonna go get this salad. Here's me now going to the Chinese man to get some fish and chips, and everyone's like, yeah, but look at this. So I literally sat out in second, and I literally just wobbled my thighs, and you know what I said? I was like, you know what, I'm gonna love this, and they're gonna love it because there's confidence behind it. That's literally my main my mind frame behind it. And so in terms of becoming body confident, it is literally taking those moments, look in the mirror and go, okay, you may want to make things better, which is fine. If you want to make things better and you want to improve yourself, then fine, but never take it to the point where you feel like you have to do it for something or someone else. That's the main point. And in terms of my visual impairment, a big thing that I struggled with was, I was kind of told not to tell casting directors, producers, directors about my disability. Now, I have a condition called nystagmus, which means unfocused and shaky vision, which is affected by light, speed, and tiredness. So
this is perfect.
And it literally is one of those things, guys, where I'm like, when I was first told that, I was like, oh, but that puts me in danger. But, that's coming from a higher authority and someone who's in the industry. So, I was like, okay, fine, I'll just take that advice. My big learning lessons were when we were doing Rent, and the black curtain and the vertical steps at the back. There was not much space at all. It was pitch black. I hadn't told anyone about my disability. And there was one point where we had to come off behind that curtain. And when I tell you, I dropped.
Yeah, I remember that.
I dropped. And I was just like, I can't do that again. I cannot just sit and hide. And I'm like, if I'm going to lose jobs because people don't want to either learn about how to work with people like me, it's not that difficult. A lot of the girls even now go, you wouldn't even know that you're visually impaired because of the way I am on stage, even how I am just in life anyway. So when I'm asked about it, I've been asked about it probably once or twice in an audition. And someone went, okay, so we can see here that you've got a visual impairment. Told them about what it was. You can literally take a candle, light it up here, take it there, and I can see every single fragment until it reaches there. You know, if I'm tired, I lose my peripheral, which is what happened in Salford, to the point where I was like, we were literally just about to go into my number, and I went, I don't know if I can do this. I don't know if I can do this. It's too late to leave. How I did that number with no peripheral vision and very minimal around the rest of my eyes, I don't know. But as soon as that was done, I was just like, I need to get off the stage. And it's never hit me like that before, to that level. And that was a very scary time, really scary, because I did not know what was happening. And I didn't know how to handle that situation. All I knew was I just needed to stay calm. Jen was great because Jen was with me on American Idiot. Jodie was great because she knew from Rent how I was. Lauren Byrne, because obviously her partner shares something very similar to me. So it's very, I say it's a difficult one, but it's not. I always say, I'm like, people are like, oh, how do you deal with it? Oh, it's all right, we can do this for you. Please don't do things for me. Like, let me tell you what I'm capable of doing. And if we need to adapt it, it's not about changing, it's just adapting things so it makes things safe and makes things, what's the word, open for everyone. And that's kind of how I balance it out. And here I am, guys, dancing in lights, no problems.
Brilliant. Jasmine?
Oh, I think if anyone knows me from since I got diagnosed till now, you will know how much my appearance has changed. Every year my appearance has changed, purely because when I first got diagnosed, the main medication for the thing that I have is steroids. So I obviously got told that if I took these steroids, I would essentially become obese. I would never dance again. It would wreck up my joints. It would literally like seize me up to the point where I can't move. So all of that, as a 16-year-old, I was a bit like, okay, that really knocked me down. And I thought, okay, I need to actually not fall into the trap of being like, look, Jazz, you're better than that. You're not going to get overweight because you work hard, you dance all the time. And I think the main thing for me was, so you get something with the steroids called moon face, and it is literally what it is on the tin. Your face, you literally look like a chipmunk. Like I've got chubby cheeks anyway.
No, you
these
don't.
bad boys, no, literally, like these bad boys were like out here, and I was like, oh God, like it was not cute. And I think, obviously, because I started Bird not looking how I normally look, I just thought that every person was like judging me. And I thought, oh, you know what? I don't have like this chiseled face that like everyone on theatre wants to have. And like, I don't have the ideal look and this, that, and the other. And you know what? I'm actually glad that I got moon face and I got potentially the ability to become overweight or anything. Like, I'm actually grateful for that, because that taught me as a young adult to actually, who cares what you look like? Who cares? The only person who cares is yourself. Like, I would look in the mirror every single day being like, has my cheek gone down? Have they gone down? Like, ask my, like, Mum, if you're watching this, you know, I would ask you all the time. I probably did your head in being like, Mum, have my cheeks gone down yet? Like, that was honestly my main concern. And I think back and I'm like, Jazz, your face is your face. Deal with it. Like, you, like, just accept your looks for what they are, because I'm sorry, you can't change that. So you just have to accept it for what it is. And even to the point where, like, I was so worried that I would put on weight that I actually became underweight, and I became underweight for a good like 1.5 years. Wow. Until I think my sister was like, Jazz, you are very small, like you should probably start like eating like normally. I was like, okay. And I was like, you know what, I needed someone to tell me that, to be like, look, you were perfect the way you were. Like, I think what I'm trying to go with this is, to be body confident, you have to have the confidence within yourself to know that you are beautiful, to know that the only person who is judging you is you. Like, no one cares. Nobody cares. Like, they meet you for you on the inside, you know? And if someone doesn't like you for your personality, then, mate, why would you want to know them, you know? Like, brilliant. That is honestly the advice I would give. Love yourself from the inside out.
Boom.
Jodie, do you have anything to add to that? We've only got 50 seconds left.
Everybody's amazing, and no, honestly, both of what the girls have said. Listen, yes, I'm a gym freak, I know that, but do you know what? In the same breath, someone will say, "Well, your bum's not big enough, your boobs aren't big enough." I'm now slowly moving into TV and have been for a few years. Your nose is too big. I've broken my nose 10 times. It's a story. We'll have to come back to that another day. And you know, you will always get told that something is wrong with you, and you know what you have to do. Cool, thank you. Bam. I think the great thing about our industry now is that we're breaking away from this perfect perception of a woman. What is that anyway? Really, what is that? You know,
I think to add on to that, Jodie, what you're saying, sorry to interrupt, but just to overall what you're all saying, what's really interesting is, so this is coming from a male point of view, right? That what you're all saying, and it's really important, is that don't judge people by the way they look, because I guarantee they're all on their own journey. So when you see that person is whatever size they are, whether it be a larger figure, a thinner figure, tall, short, to you they're perfect because they're what you think you want in yourself, or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, I have yet to meet anyone, and that's men as well, who feel that they are perfect, and it just doesn't exist. And everyone is on their fight and their journey. So if you all just stop judging people because, oh God, she's dead skinny, or God, she's fat, horrible words, both ends, horrible. Just know that might be exactly how they want to be, and that makes them perfect. So look at yourself again, like Jasmine said, look into yourself, look in that mirror and say, just take a breath, chill out, and then take some time out from this judging, because like you're saying, Jodie, you work out every day because that helps you with your condition. That's what it is, and it's all these things are so important. And I love that things are changing. I love our industry is changing. I love there are people out there making these changes. Guys, I'm just going to go through here. Oh, Chad Garvey. Chad is a wonderful agent. You've been enjoyed to listen to. Thank you. The wonderful Janice. Janice, hello. Some of you at auditions as well. Melanie, thank you so much for your honest answers. Thank you for this chat. Love the discussion. So insightful. And such a good Q&A. Thank you. I literally thank you so much, guys, for your time. It's been wonderful to have you on. Would you come back and do something else for us in the future?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We can only have 6 people on here, but we should try and get every queen in the world on at some point.
Yeah.
Together. I don't know how we're going to do it, but we should definitely try that. You'll see all the thank yous coming in here in the comments. Thank you so much for your time from me and Rosie and everyone watching. It really has been wonderful. So don't go anywhere, but I'm going to take you out off the live chat. So thank you, Jodie Steele.
Thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Shaka.
Stay blessed, so beautiful, everyone.
Thank you, Jasmine Shen.
Thank you. Bye.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you all for watching. How wonderful. They are just such an inspirational bunch. And I tell you, that's why they got it, because they're all inspirational, wonderful people. So what do we have coming up next? At 3:45, we have Embodying Character with Audrey Woodhouse. And Audrey and I went to college 25 years ago, so really excited to have her coming up at 3:45. Thank you so much for listening. You will be wonderful. Please come back and see Audrey and her insanely brilliant class at 3:45. Take care. Thank you to our wonderful queen.